Hello, hi. So, fair warning, the window, door, balcony, patio, sliding thing is open. So it may be a little noisy, but it was already getting warm in here, so I had to open it up to let the air flow. Also, I'm just in like a really, really good mood today. I'm singy. I've been singy yesterday, today, since the weekend, and I'm just letting it happen. But hire a family, I know I've been away, but I've been more active on the Legacy channel. And I created this program. I was learning Python, and there was this dice rolling simulator. And I was like, dice? I have a whole system built around dice. Excuse me. Also, I'm drinking iced coffee. So it's not a nice Coffee Chronicle self read, but this is a nice Coffee Chronicle self read. And I'm letting you know up front at the top. Because I've been wanting to do a self read, and I feel like it keeps me. I don't know. Sometimes it's easier to do it live. Sometimes I feel like it's easier to do it live, but it's easier to go deeper off camera, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if certain things come up, I'm like, okay, that's not necessarily for everybody. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'll like file a mental note. Whereas, like, if I was doing it off live, I would like dive into it. Anyway, it's fine. That's what this is. I made this program that rolls dice. First, it was a program that rolled dice until I found out that it is a little bit more involved to roll the dice and associate the dice with one of the correspondences than to just like have a table of correspondences and have it randomly choose from that table. So it rolls the dice, but technically it doesn't. I mean, technically it's a program, so it's not rolling anything. But yeah, I have the 8-Bit Fantasy Tarot. They've been really interesting over on the Legacy channel lately. I mean, so we'll see. And yeah. Three of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Can you even see it? Oh, wow. Hold up. I don't think I like this. I don't think I like this. I guess I typically use. Oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Who is this? The star just excused itself. I'm trying to shuffle. Oh, these cards are starting to bend. Now, I feel like they look fairly straight on camera, but as I'm looking at them, they're kind of bowed a little. I don't like bowed cards or bent cards. They're just, I don't know. It's like a bent page, like a bunny-eared page in a book. Oh, this hair is like insulating me today. I need to get it off my shoulders so my shoulders can breathe. All right. And it's time for a retwist. It's beyond time. The Nine of Pentacles just showed itself with quite a few cards. How am I doing this? Something just flipped over. It's the Four of Cups with the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck and the King of Swords behind that. The King of Swords has been sitting in the seat of masculine intuition again. Excuse me. Oh, and the Queen of Swords is right there. Interesting. Masculine intuition being the part that we play in making things come about. Sometimes it seems like if we intuit something, It's almost like we intuit the thing that happens, but not necessarily, we don't necessarily see ourselves in the scene as it's happening. That's what makes it so easy to end up misbehaving, even if we can see the situation. That's so Raven. It's the future she can see, right? Oh gosh. The Two of Swords. It's like these packs of cards are just falling out today. And then I realized that I haven't used the story engine in a while. Oh my gosh, cards just keep coming out, and I just keep putting them back. The Page of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles with the Magician at the bottom of the deck. This is so interesting. It's almost like a whatever you do, put your heart into it type of energy. And then the Knight of Cups is there. Cool. All right. So for me, for Patrick, let's see what we got. What do we got? What do we got? Actually, I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going to have Google flip a coin. Because maybe I'll just do like something general or like ICC type, Iced Coffee Chronicles esque, because I've been away for a while, you know? I hate to come back and be like, oh, let's make this all about me. The iced coffee is already so low. It's so low. I could let the ice melt. I didn't even get a full cup of iced coffee today. You know, it was probably frothy. And it sat in the froth, defrothed. Hey, Google, flip a coin, please. Okay, it went to the screen, but it's not flipping the coin. I'm going to turn this up. Turn it up. Flip a coin, please. Why is it not flipping the coin? This is so interesting. Has Google gone rogue? Is Google flipping a coin that I can't see? This, like, the Two of Swords was at the bottom of the deck, and that's minor High Priestess. What I was originally gonna do was like, because I had this thought, and I was like, do I really want to come back and do a self read? I mean, and I know that most of y'all over here are aware, if not all of y'all over here are aware of the Legacy channel. So, like, you would have seen me theoretically. But then I was like, oh, I could do like a card for you and a card for me, a card for you, a card for me, a roll for you, a roll for me. And I was kind of joking. And I did do something not necessarily super similar, but on the Legacy channel, I did like a collective alchemy, like a general alchemy and a personal alchemy. And then there was this interplay between me and the collective and I. Sure, why not? Let's do it. So I'm gonna have to use my screen grabbing skills. Judgment and the Eight of Swords. This is such an interesting energy. It's almost like the whole invisible coin thing. Like something is being judged, but we're not. It's almost like something is happening in judgment that we're not aware of with the Eight of Swords, but we don't need to be aware of it. And it's almost like we don't see whatever this judgment process is. 28. We don't see whatever this judgment process is, but we can see the outcomes, right? it's like we're not privy to the proceedings inside of the court, but based upon how things change, we can make a fairly educated guess as to what the verdict was, if that makes sense. And then the star is there. Love it. The star that tried to get away. All right. All right. All right. Okay. 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 Let's see what this is about. Uno momento, por favor, please. Oh. Okay. I told you I'm singing. No. I was gonna try to contain it. I failed. I blame my mother. I get it from her. Just singing everything. All right. So I'm gonna do this like war. It's like war, but it isn't war. It's just in the style of war, inspired by war, but without any of the tragedy. Where I'm gonna do so it's like three cards face down and then a card face up. It's not necessarily who wins. I don't know what the relationship is. Maybe the bottom of the deck will be the relationship. And then that will kind of sort of give an indication of the flavor. So I'll pull three cards face down and then a card face up. Within the minor arcana, aces are low, pages are high, knights beat pages, and then the king and queen have co rulership, but they both beat the knight and the page. Any major beats any minor, and all majors occupy the same rulership. Where it's like I don't go by the number of the major arcana. They tie each other. Um, and to break the tie, it's like you keep revealing face up cards until the tie is broken, and then you reveal the face down cards to see what supported whatever that energy, right? So a card for me, a card for thee, a card for me, and a card for thee, a card for me, a card for thee. And I'm actually going to pull the fourth card face down until a card for me, a card for thee, and then the card at the bottom of the deck. Until I get these rolls. So I'll do a roll for me. I'll screen grab it and then I'll do a roll for thee. It's been 13 minutes and I've done nothing. I am back in true form. Interesting. Interesting. I know. See, I can't help it. Oh, it's fine. I don't have to change me. I'm not gonna rearrange me. uh, and then I'll save it. 414.25. Excuse me, I almost did 414.24. And then I'll come over here and I will change this to browns. Browse, 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 browse. Browse. I'm so sorry. Ah, I don't know. Have you ever felt like everything changed, but you didn't know why, and you didn't know what, and you didn't know when or where, but you just knew that everything had changed? Oh, wait, do I need for this to be open? Oh, I don't need for this to be open. Um, yeah, and so I've just been like in a good mood, singy. Okay, so that's the roll for me, and now I'll do a roll for thee, and then we will reveal the cards. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Jupiter is actually in Gemini right now. Where's my I don't know where my iPhone is. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my iPhone so I can see when Jupiter heads into Cancer. Because Jupiter and Gemini, that's interesting for what is happening currently. Currently. I told you I can't help it. I can't help but be singing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm back. Jupiter is in Gemini at 18 degrees. Jupiter goes into Cancer in 8 weeks and 1 day, June 9th, in Cancer season. No, June 9th is Gemini season. A few weeks before Cancer season. Interesting. Interesting. So the sun is going to conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Anyway, so for 8 more weeks, we have this Jupiter in Gemini. Okay. So for me, the moon, the chariot, Gemini, Aquarius, sacral heart, and fire. I love that sacral heart and fire are there because it's almost like the sacral heart, the sacred heart is like the element of fire. Gemini and the chariot is interesting. The moon in Aquarius is interesting. With Gemini and the chariot, I don't know if it's like a self driving chariot. It doesn't necessarily have to be. And the moon is there. So maybe it is a self driving chariot. It's like the charioteer is concealed, but you can see the chariot moving forward. But it feels like with that Gemini energy, it's because the horses or the sphinxes aren't at odds with each other. So they don't need a strong will to like force them to be on the same page. They are naturally on the same page and things are naturally progressing because of it. Almost giving a little bit of a flavor of that Judgment and the Eight of Swords energy. Right. And Aquarius is, sorry, let's focus. I don't know. Aquarius kind of stands out a little bit. I know in the Chariot card, I can't remember if it's just the vice versa. I know there's a deck that I have where there's a constellation on the Chariot, or there's like a crown of stars or something. And it gives me a vibe There are multiple stars in the star card, and it's almost like it's almost like if a collection of stars take the form of a different constellation, then the form gives some kind of function, right? So if a constellation of stars takes the form of a wheel, then it can move forward. Or if it takes the form of a whatever, then it'll whatever, right? There's some kind of correlation between the form, the shape that they take and the function that is provided. Then on the collective side, it's interesting that it's just that Jupiter, Eight of Pentacles, Gemini, Scorpio, Leo, Aries. Let's look into it. What's in Scorpio? Probably just the moon. What's in Aries? We got Neptune. Right now, it's the sun. I think Saturn goes into Aries in May. So by the time Jupiter leaves Gemini, I'm gonna just go back and look at the chart. Show me. Wait, can I do this? No, I can't. Boo. But I can do this where I can see signs and degrees. See, they have. I love. I love time. I know I don't follow the planets like I used to, but I love Time Nomad because you can go to like Jupiter crossing the Cancer cusp, and you can see where all the planets are when that happens. So at that time, Saturn and Neptune will both be in Aries at 1 and 2 degrees. So they'll be conjuncting in Aries. Leo, Mars will be in Leo at that time. Not necessarily trining because you see it's at like 25 degrees of Leo. So that's like pretty late. And then Scorpio, the moon will be in Scorpio. Interesting. The moon is actually going to be in Scorpio. Wow. And this is this is right before Jupiter officially crosses because this is Jupiter at like 30 degrees of Gemini. So as Jupiter leaves Gemini, we're going to have Moon in Scorpio, Mars in Leo, and then Neptune and Saturn in Aries. Interesting. And Uranus is going to be at 28 degrees of Taurus. So getting really, really close to entering Gemini. What does that mean? I don't know. Cool. I don't know what we're doing today. Let's see what the relationship is. The Six of Cups. Interesting. Me is the moon. This is funny because the moon was like literally the first thing revealed. But I am a Pisces. V, it's the Three of Pentacles. So in the game, the major would beat the minor. 18 is also a 9. Oh my gosh, this is a 963. 18, the moon, the Six of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. Nine, 6, 3. Interesting. So let's reveal, shall we? what is behind the moon. We have the Queen of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the Hierophant. Two of my majors are here. I'm a Pisces, Sun, Taurus, Moon, and Rising, and we have like water. No. The moon is Pisces. It's just like straight up Pisces. This isn't the hangman. We have the majors associated with Pisces and Taurus here. What's interesting is, though, the Page of Swords is turning away from the Hierophant and looking towards the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is looking at the Page of Swords. This is also a representation of earth, air, fire, and water. Major Arcana water in Pisces, Major Arcana earth in Taurus, Page of Swords, Queen of Wands. There's no, yeah. Fire, Queen of Wands, air, Page of Swords, earth, the Hierophant, water, the moon. Behind the Three of Pentacles is the Empress, the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess. Whoa! 223 3223, actually. 3223. I feel like that was like a mirrored pair that I was seeing for a while. I still see it every now and then. 3223. Major, minor, major, minor. The Empress, the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess is such an interesting combination of cards to receive. Because it's almost like the Emperor. And we do have Aries energy up there. The Emperor is Aries. The Emperor, the Ankh that the Emperor holds is gifted to him by the Empress. And you can see the Empress like holding up whatever. So it's almost like the Empress is waiting for whoever the High Priestess designates to give that, to bestow her gift to. And because the Three of Pentacles is here, and like because Patrick came out with the moon, it's almost like these are two different whatever. And it's not that there isn't any interaction, but because on the side, on the collective side, it's almost like there are these abundant and multiplicative energies, Empress energies that are almost like waiting for the right person to come along to gift them to, because the Empress isn't going to just give it to anybody. And with the Two of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, it feels like there are multiple people. Like there's a whole council of people or energies that get behind and support like an individual that help train them, mold them, shape them into one that the Empress can bequeath her whatever to. Right? It's like if you are going to do a marathon or something and you like hire someone or you find someone to help you train and help you prepare. Or it's like if you're racing, it's the pit crew. It's the coach, like the sports coach, the cheerleaders, the people in the stands that support. And even in this picture, it looks like paper to me, you know? This could be like two parents saying goodbye. I just watched Disney's Hercules. This could be two parents saying goodbye to their child as they head out into the world. This could be like an actor who is rehearsing lines, and like that's a piece of paper and they're helping him learn his lines so that he's like ready for the scene that he's going to audition, and like stuff like that. It's like there's a whole team behind whoever this empress is going to sort of support. The card that's under the Six of Cups is the Three of Swords. So another three. I feel like the rain in this Three of Swords is like healing waters. So if you pull the swords out, and then the Ace of Swords is behind this Three of Swords, and Strength is behind this Ace of Swords. If you pull the swords out, then the rain will mend these wounds. But if the swords are left in, then the heart will heal around those swords, which means that, like, when it's time, I mean, you're gonna cut both ways anyway, but it's like it's gonna cut open what's already been healed if the heart heals around these swords and then you try to pull the sword out. So many threes on the table. Three of Swords, Three of Pentacles, the Empress. The Eight of Essences is the Eight of Cups. I was thinking the Eight of Pentacles. I keep confusing water and earth. I thought the Six of Realms was the Six of Cups, or the Six of Essences was the Six of Pentacles. I think I keep confusing. Anyway, the Eight of Essences is the Eight of Cups. Is Jupiter? No, it's Saturn and Pisces. The Eight of Cups is Saturn and Pisces. Saturn has been in Pisces while Jupiter has been in Gemini. But Saturn and Pisces is coming in between the Jupiter and the Gemini energy. It's almost like I'm starting to get really warm. It's almost like the twins of Gemini are separated, have separated, or there's like Gemini, the polarity of Gemini has been made extreme. And Jupiter is coming in to expand them so that they can connect again, so that they can touch or make contact. But with Saturn and Pisces being in between them, with the Eight of Essences, with the Eight of Cups, it could either be like there is something fundamentally um, different between those two that would prevent a connection or a lasting, meaningful connection. So Saturn is in Pisces trying to like get to the root of whatever so that the twins can unite, so that the polarity can collapse or at least be like less extreme, right? It's a rubber band that's not constantly taut to the point of deformation. It's a rubber band that is like relaxed, right? It's like so the things aren't as extreme. It's either Saturn is in Pisces fixing or correcting what keeps two things apart, or Saturn is in Pisces keeping two things apart. Saturn, not Saturn, I guess Saturn and Gemini are squaring because Pisces and Gemini square. They're both mutable. And then we have Scorpio, Leo, Aries. So fixed water, fixed fire. Scorpio and Leo square. And then Aries is cardinal fire. Aries is the emperor. I was gonna say it feels like Aries is whatever this empress Aries has received whatever from the empress and is now beginning to use it. Like that feels like that's the Aries energy, and again, it makes sense because Aries is the emperor. So the emperor, the ankh that the emperor holds, belongs to the empress. It has been gifted to him, entrusted to him, bequeathed to him, or upon him. I don't. Anyway, it feels like the Scorpio Leo square is trying to reach some kind of balance or equilibrium for that to happen, right? And with fixed fire and fixed water, it could be like what is fixed within the heart and what is fixed within the soul, right? Like, because let's say that within someone's soul, they are so aligned to this one thing. This is something that's core to someone's soul, but there's this other thing that's core to someone's heart, and there could be um, uh, irreconcilable differences, I guess, because the Three of Swords. If someone has lived life in a certain way, it's because, again, the heart can be wounded. The soul, who knows? You could say no, but then it's fine. The soul, question mark. The heart, yes. And when that scar tissue on the heart gets big enough, or when it hardens enough, it's almost like it will find its way to the core of our heart, or it will become the new core, right? Just like how capitals within capitals within states, provinces, countries change over time, like the core of the heart can change. And it's not until they sort of like realign with that Scorpio and Leo that something can move forward in that Aries Emperor energy, which makes sense because there's a certain power that the Empress holds, and you don't want that power to necessarily get into the hands of someone like volatile. Because in a moment of anger, frustration, upsetness, whatever, then it's like everything goes to crap. Or it could be like disastrous. So it's like to have a little bit of a stability. So Saturn is deep in Pisces. And it's not that Gemini is superficial, but it's like Gemini is so externally connected and Pisces is so like deeply internal that it's just like two different sort of realms. The Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces making things work or trying to mediate between the two twins so that Jupiter, as Jupiter is bringing expansion to the twins of Gemini, they're growing closer together rather than growing farther apart. And then the Queen of Wands, Page of Swords, Hierophant, the Moon, with the Moon, the Chariot, Gemini, Aquarius, Sacral, Heart, and Fire. What's interesting is on the left side is there's like this person giving the cup with the flower in it to the other person. And the Queen of Wands is over here like holding a sunflower. I don't know, just noticed that because I'm looking at the cards. Again, the moon feels like not entirely related to whatever this is, but also we have like the major high priestess and minor high priestess over here with the empress on the D side. I guess on a personal level, because this is a personal, this is like the self read part of it. I've been hearing so many people, and by so many people, I mean like maybe one or two or three, which is so many for me because I don't. It's been, I've been hearing a lot. I've heard people refer to Neptune and Aries as like the spiritual warrior, right? And it's interesting because even the last time I did the me and the collective with the alchemy, the collective facing like Patrick facing the collective, like the octopus came out, but it was like the octopus letting go. And then it was this whole like how necessary pain is for us, not only in like so that we grow our character development or whatever, but without pain, we wouldn't be alerted to the fact that something within the body is like not going as it should be. Something needs to be looked at or addressed. And when we communicate pain, you know, we need to be believed, right? There are plenty of professionals who are just like, oh, just do this, just do that, blah, 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 whatever. So I guess like for me, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, I've gone live a few more times, but I'm not necessarily jumping into spiritual warrior for the collective or whatever. Cause I'm really at this point where it's like I feel like we have to do whatever we need to do for ourselves. You can only do so much for other people before they become incapable of doing it for themselves, or it's just like with things that we don't have to think about, or things that we never bother to learn to do because we trust that someone else is there to do it for us, right? And I feel like that's the way. I don't know. It's just like in order for any change to be like truly lasting and impactful, it requires us all to make our own sort of choices or take our own stance or invest ourselves. And so there's, I guess, the part again, like the Page of Swords is looking away from the Hierophant. The Queen of Wands is looking for somebody to give that flower to, because I don't know. I remember like 2019, into 2019, 2020, just being like so kind of like worried about the collective and not necessarily feeling like it was my responsibility to do whatever, but it was kind of like, well, if no one else is going to do whatever, then if I feel like something needs to be said, if there's a perspective that I think is valuable that could be helpful in a situation to maybe see things in a different way, then I'll say it because I feel like it's worth noting. But now I don't necessarily feel the same anymore. And it's because it's like we all have our own journeys, our own lessons, and we get wherever we're going in our own time. And answers, perspectives, potential solutions, or whatever given by someone else isn't always as impactful as us reaching whatever conclusion ourselves. And it's just like I'm in at this point now of like focusing on my own life. you know. I feel like that's too why the moon is here. So I don't know if there is a fraction or a part of the collective of thee that is like actively seeking whatever this empress has to give. But Patrick is not. you know, not whatever that is, you know. Patrick's got his own thing sort of going on. So wow. I kind of do. All right. So I'll say like this is the collective part. And then I'll just like go further over here. I'll say 0-0 for the ramble. I remember looking at the clock and it was 13 collective around 15 minutes and self at 50 minutes. Because I think I'm about 50 now. I'm at 46:22. So we'll change this to 46. We'll change it to 47, 48. We'll change it to 48 because I do want to shuffle these back into the deck. So that'll give me some time. Give me some time. Give me some time. Give me some time. Because as much as I would love to just like focus on me and to let people's journeys be their journeys and let whatever happens in the world just happen in the world as a result of us making our own choices and decisions, it's like I still care about people and I still care about the collective, but I know that it's not my role, purpose, responsibility, or desire really to be someone in a line of work, energetic, public facing, like doing readings or whatever. Like, I don't really desire that. I've never really desired that, which is why I only would speak when I felt like something needed to be said, right? If someone is saying something, I don't necessarily feel the need to come on and confirm or validate or repeat like the message. You know what I mean? If I see that it's out there, I'm like, okay. And so because I'm like that, I also understand, and I've understood for a while that I see whatever it is that I need to see in order to voice whatever I feel like needs voicing. You know what I mean? Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Empress chilling over there. So I've left the Patrick cards out. Actually, yeah, I left these out. The Queen of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Moon. And so again, it's not that I feel a personal responsibility. I say that it isn't. I don't know how to communicate the feeling that I feel towards the collective. Um, but I appreciate when people are in good hands. And so I am hoping Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, that's all four queens and the Empress. Wow. King of Wands. Hold up. Why did I think that was the Queen of Cups? Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands. I was like, wait, we didn't see the Queen of Cups. Hold up. We saw minor and major High Priestess, but we didn't see the pre-High Priestess, the Dreamland. The Queen of Cups is underwater, under the sea. She's living her own life. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I do appreciate like feeling like the collective is in good hands. Because then it's like I don't have to worry, you know. And I do worry. I don't feel like it's my job or my responsibility or my purpose, but I do worry, you know? You can worry about someone and not be like their caretaker or not be in their circle of support. You know what I mean? Not the inner circle at the very least, Justice and the Empress. So yeah, it's just like I gotta trust that the collective is full of adults who can make empowered choices and decisions. And but it's like it's time for me to go about my way, you know. And it's something that would come in waves. I would get the message all the time, but now I'm like, okay, all right. So with this moon, I want to pull before and after the Hangman, but I would like a few cards, and I'm gonna give this one more roll. Am I gonna roll it now, or yeah, I'll roll it now. Why not? I'll give this one more roll. Whoa, that came out quick. The moon is back. What? The moon is still there. Taurus. Hierophant Taurus. I'm a Pisces, Taurus, Taurus. Pisces sun, Taurus, moon, and rising. Ooh. Let's see. We have fire and air. What an explosive combination. Eight of essences, which is the eight of cups. Again, four of zones, eight of cups, four of swords. The moon, death, Taurus. Death is Scorpio. So there's Taurus, Scorpio. Double crown, throat, solar plexus, and air. What is Patrick up to? Nine of cups, eight of pentacles, working hard to make his dreams come true. And hard work ain't always hard work. You know, sometimes hard work is hard, mental, emotional, internal. I got to catch up with my journey buddy yesterday, and it was amazing. But before we caught up, I was just feeling like it's been about since my birthday, especially. Um, it's been a time of like constantly overcoming myself. I feel like overcoming limiting beliefs, overcoming past ways of operating. And it's like the way that I operated in the past, I operated that way out of necessity. Like, if I'm literally blind and I can't see, then of course I'm going to have to be more cautious of the situations that I sort of like put myself in, especially if there isn't anyone around that can like help me. But now that my situation has changed so drastically, and over the past few years, I've been learning to like adjust to a different set of capabilities in life. And I've been learning to like push myself and that I can try and all this other stuff. But as the leaps get bigger and bigger, it's sometimes more difficult than others. Sometimes it's really easy to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then other times it's almost like the reality of it starts to sink in a little bit. And I'll be like, you know, maybe I need like a safety net. Maybe I need like, where's my handrails? And in different areas of my life, it's been just like rooting through all of that old stuff, almost like tilling up the soil. Right? It's been a lot of tilling. So like a seven of pentacles type energy. The eight of essences, ooh, king of pentacles and the five of cups. The five of cups was just at the cut with the six of wands at the bottom of the deck. Six of wands, king of pentacles, bridged by the five of cups. The devil, that's Capricorn. We could say that's Capricorn and Taurus. I think the devil though, and again, the devil, especially in this deck, this is the only deck that I have. But the devil's been coming out in a way of like, it's not necessarily devil energy that is responsible for something that is happening. It is us bound to our past, our pain, our trauma, our way of being. Like, devil energy is no longer an active participant in something. Devil energy is hands off. And the Hermit card that came out on the Legacy channel, the divine is hands off. It's like the experiment has been set up and now it's playing out. The divine has been imparting and guiding and helping us, as devil energy has been playing the fear game or whatever. So at this point, it's not like necessarily devil energy or this energy, how from my perspective or how I'm viewing it and how the cards are coming out. It's not like devil energy or this energy or that entity is out here like spreading fear and doing this. It's like people are afraid. And the fear is like amplifying or multiplying or however they interact with people, whatever those interactions are. It's like that. It's almost like it's no longer being put into the system. The system is closed off, the system is sealed. And we've all gone through what we've gone through, and we all have our own like purpose and role and challenges and, other things. But devil energy is hands off. Divine energy is hands off. So yeah, and look, there's the four of swords under the devil, and the Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. After that, I've been feeling this Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Cups energy, and in order to like really stand ready to receive it, it has required the Sun and the King of Pentacles. Whoop, 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 whoop. It has required like facing. It has required me to like constantly overcome myself. And again, by this point, it's more how I've had to live, how I've become accustomed to living, the way I've gone about making choices and decisions. And things have changed. And now I have to relearn and position myself in a way that things can continue to change, especially in the way that I want. 5656, which is 1111, which is a 4. Four of Wands is the demiurge in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. And again, I feel like sometimes we as people can make things bigger than ourselves. And they're not always necessarily bigger than us. Sometimes it is us, And it's not that there isn't anything bigger or whatever. But sometimes it's not like somebody working against you or this energy or that energy trying to get us to do whatever. Sometimes it's us processing through, doing our best to do whatever, you know? And I feel like when we can correctly identify and own up to it, it empowers us to really change things rather than still giving our power away. I feel like it's especially giving your power away, giving our power away when we give someone credit for something that they are not doing. Right? So if like we are the problem, if the power to resolve the problem is in our hands, but we keep externalizing like I can't because this and I can't because that, and there are all of these forces at play or whatever, then we will never tap into that which brings about a resolution, because we have the ability to resolve at least some things in our life. You know what I mean? Ten of Swords and the King of Pentacles. But again, at this point, I'm just like, I feel like I've said, there's the Queen of Cups. There she is. She's looking at that Ten of Swords like, oof, girl. Well, I'm going to just sit on my throne and drink my tea because it ain't my business. Anyway. All right. So I wanted to pull before the Three of Pentacles just came out, interestingly enough, with the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck and the King of Swords after that. The Ten of Cups is behind the King of Swords. The King of Swords would be that, like, if the child falls and scrapes their knee and they cry, like, let them cry. Right? Because they need to learn that it's not that they need to learn pain, but if you constantly like rush in and do whatever, they're never going to learn to pick themselves up. And as parents, you do your best. Some people, to do their best to, in the ways that they know how, um, make sure that their offspring are ready to go and live their own lives and become and do what is for them to do, and not necessarily fall within the footsteps of the parent. And it's interesting that the Three of Pentacles is here though, because that was just the significator, not significator, Judgment and the Lovers, and the Queen of Cups facing the Queen of Swords with the Magician and Justice, and the Two of Wands and the Ace of Swords. So Magician, Justice, Two of Wands, Ace of Swords. But there's Five of Swords, King of Swords, Ten of Cups, right? Judgment, the Lovers, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords. And I feel like the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords is, when it comes to a King of Swords energy, the Queen of Cups may struggle to let the kids go. But with the Queen of Swords, it's almost like, rather than in like a blunt, or I want to say like brusque, is that a word? I feel like that's a word that I've like read. And I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Hey Siri. Oh, wait, let me turn the volume up. Let me turn the volume up so you can hear Siri. Hey, Siri, define brusque. Wow, you're supposed to read it. What? A definition is a statement of meaning of a term? Come on. Define brusque. Brusque? Abrupt or offhand in speech or manner. Lively, fierce, from Italian brusco, sour. I wanted you to say it out loud so I can hear if I'm saying it right. Brusque. Hey Siri, define brusque. It's not doing it. Why aren't you saying the word? Oh, you know what? I can just let's see. Because if I search it on Google and tap the little speaker, it'll speak. If I search it on Google, but because the King of Swords can be like that. Are you serious? Oh. Brusque. Brusque? Brusque. Brusque. I've never heard it said. I've only read the word. But because the King of Swords can be like that, the Queen of Cups almost has this like, well, you don't care and blah, blah, blah. It could be easy for that to be the case. But when the Queen of Swords sits down with the Queen of Cups, it's like, it's not that like it's cold, or it's not that you don't care. But in order for them to learn to like get back up on their own and to keep going, or in order for them to learn to trip or even to fall, but to keep moving forward, sometimes you got to let them pick themselves up. And then the Queen of Cups is like, then it feels like she could reach the point where like, even if she really, really, really wants to jump in, she could recognize, okay, like this is something that I have to let them sort of figure out. So that's what I'm interpreting that Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords conversation as. And then there's the Three of Swords with the Five of Swords. Again. Okay. Oh, wow. That was immediate. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, mutable fire. Six of Swords, Four of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Four of Pentacles. And I want to get three more because I got one and then I got two. So let's go for three. Strength, the King of Cups. Let's get one more. Strength, King of Cups. And one more, please. Uno más, por favor. Uno más. The Star. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Wands, which is that 56, 56, 11, 11. Venus in Aries. Venus is about to go back into Aries, and it's just the Star. Cool. The King of Cups is sitting between Strength and the Star. And they're both kneeling. Both the Star and Strength are kind of like kneeling. Kneeling, a kneeling, healing, ligase. Anyway. It's interesting that we see the Star here because in the Moon and the Chariot, there was like the crown of stars, right? Then it's like if the constellation takes a certain shape or form, then it can give it a certain function. So under the Moon is the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, Strength, the King of Cups, the Star, and the Four of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this is like the slow peel away from, I won't say from the collective, but just being so externally focused. Because again, I've never necessarily felt like it was my purpose to do whatever, but I have felt that there were things that bared mentioning or things that needed to be said. Things that perspectives that it could have been beneficial to take in order to get enough of a different angle to see something in a way that could lead to like a different conclusion, maybe, or a different possibility at the very least. So yeah, from the collaborative Three of Pentacles under the Moon, Three of Pentacles being a part of this collaborative effort. And it's interesting because maybe at some point, I could say that. Why not? And I just want to like try to help people see a different perspective. Like, I am also hoping for a collective or an earth for people who have what they need to make empowered, informed choices and decisions to move them closer to their happiness. Because as people do better, the world gets better, and then I don't have to worry about the state of the world or people in the world. I can like more easily focus on me and my life and what I want and not feel as bad or guilty or whatever that like, well, something isn't working out for this, or like this is also happening and these people can't seem like these people can't catch an ounce of sympathy or compassion or love from the love and light girlies. Because the love and light girlies, they'll tell you to shut up real quick. If you're going through it, the love and light girlies are like, you're an illusion, you're a bot in the matrix, you're not even real. I am a star seed here to make life on earth better for everybody, and I care about the collective. But if you are going through it over there, F you. You're not. I'm like, what girl, like what collective are you here to serve or help? What, the collective of star seeds that are also here to help and serve and help? Anyway. But things are changing, things are getting better, people are developing a sense of a capacity for actual compassion and a love and light that is actually illuminates more than a candle in the middle of a greenhouse in the middle of the summer around noon. So I'm just saying, I would love for there to be you know that out there, but also at the same time, I still don't feel like it's for me to try to be. Maybe at one point I kind of tried, but I'm not. I'm capable to a certain degree until the rest of me is just like, okay, like, can we just get it together, please? Like, you know? So then the Four of Pentacles and the Six of Swords feels like the pull away after sort of like being, hoping to be in this support so that, the people who that is their purpose can like come into that purpose, and so that they have everything they need to help people sort of move forward, or to position themselves to be available to who they're meant to help, or to be involved in the ways that's meant for them to be involved. And I don't know what those are, right? So maybe they are, maybe they were, maybe those just aren't the people that are meant to do whatever. But then we end up with Strength, the King of Cups, and the Star. Now, I still haven't pulled before and after. I'm going to pull before and after the Knight of Cups, because the Knight of Cups is actually Pisces, and the Hangman is like Neptune, is water, is Pisces through association with Neptune, but also the Hangman is like a major arcana. Six of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. Eight of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. Did I even read those? Kinda. Eight of Essences, Four of Zones. No. The Three of Cups just flipped over. The Page of Pentacles just came out. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups, and that's the card I was looking for. So what's under the Knight of Cups? The Eight of Cups. Actually, we'll do it this way. Eight of Cups, again, walking away. The Four of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. And it's been so interesting. It's been such an interesting series of events and conclusions to reach. It's been an interesting series of conclusions to reach personally, to have these things play out externally that triggers a series of thinking that is confirmed by like the self read, collective alchemy, personal alchemy, and to like be where I am. Like, I've been here for a while. I first came at the end of October. I went home for the holidays for a month, and then I came back. And so I was here in the UK when the inauguration happened, or both when the inauguration happened and when the results of the election came out. And it was like not being immersed in what was going on, and then like going home for that month and like kind of sort of being in it, but then coming back, and then the inauguration happened. And as everything's been happening since the inauguration, like I've been here not as immersed in it as I would be if I were back in the States. And I don't I don't necessarily feel bad that I'm not there, but I feel like it's just another way that like I not have like separated myself from the collective, but kind of, I guess. Especially since I am American, right? And maybe the strength was the strength that it's taken. Maybe this was like me keeping my own mouth closed for as long as I did. Because honestly, low key, I do kind of, I don't know, I feel like I've just gotten back in the habit of going live, kind of. Um, But and now with the readings that are coming out on the Legacy channel, I am like interested and intrigued. Even over here with the Empress, like looking for someone to bequeath or give the aunt to. There is some interesting energy that's coming out to be read at the very least. Um, but it's not for me to necessarily whatever, right? And the King of Cups is here too. The King of Cups being the one that, like the Queen of Swords, sits at the interface of like air and water. It's like the King of Cups has the same capacity to love as the Queen of Cups, but as the king, like his role is different than hers. Right. So it's not that like she cares so much that she can't help herself and he cares so little that he can. um, but it's like it's the job of the Queen of Cups to be that loving, doting mother. And it's the job of the King of Cups to be that loving father that is capable of like giving his kids the space that they need to grow and develop and not necessarily be as like overbearing, not overbearing, but as close as the Queen of Cups. And to not be as cold as the King of Swords so that like the children of the King of Cups know that they are loved very deeply by both of their parents. Right. Knight of Swords, Death, Four of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is there again. Judgment and the Lovers are still together. Ten of Cups, Judgment, the Lovers, all three still together. But now the Seven of Wands is there, where it was the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups before, I believe. Death is here. Death and the Four of Swords are together. Four of Zones and Death right next to each other. Outside of them, the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. Here's some more of that Gemini energy. Where was that Knight of Wands? I think it was at the bottom of the deck. The Four of Swords and Death are interesting. It's an interesting combination because of the whole like I'll rest when I'm dead, or um, almost like a Romeo and Juliet type of like, oh my gosh, I thought you were dead. And it's like, no, I just took something to help me sleep or whatever. I don't know. What's interesting is it's like the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles because they're both holding out that pentacle. I feel like I didn't really read this. Let's see. Air. Excuse me. Air is the mind. Also, the throat is associated with air because we speak. The exhalation. It's almost like the exhale. We can see air in both the crown and the throat. The crown being like in the communication of thought or communication that happens via thought. The throat being communication that happens via like spoken word. And the solar plexus being sustenance, almost like the intake of air that allows for like all of the organs to function, the air that carries the the air that carries iron through the body that is attached to the blood. Wait. There's iron in the blood that the oxygen and air binds to so that the organs can breathe. It's what magnesium at the core of hemoglobin in the blood, and that's where oxygen binds. But it's like the intake of air to support internal functions, the exhale, and the communication. Now, the double crown for me is where we like communicate from the crown chakra, where we transmit from the crown chakra rather than receiving. So it's like a lot of these conversations that our intuition will sort of like allow us to be privy to. It's like the double crown is taken apart, being a part of those conversations. Um, the moon and death is an interesting combination because it's almost like something is being revealed. Almost like if the moon were a veil, then the moon and death is like this revelation of things that sort of like happen at night or behind closed doors or behind the scenes or like on the other side of the stage, right? The Eight of Essences and the Four of Zones. Oh, they're both here. I didn't even necessarily go looking for them. I went looking for the Knight of Cups, and then these cards were just here. The Eight of Essences is the Eight of Cups. That was behind the Knight of Cups. And then the Four of Zones is the Four of Swords and Death. They're both here. And so I almost want to take that as a bit of confirmation of like, I felt like it's not my purpose and it's not for me to do. And it's almost confirmed that it isn't. And I think sometimes when we are capable of something, or if we're seen as capable of something, or if we've tried our hand at doing something to whatever relative success and relative appreciation, it's like if it's not for us, it's not for us. And just because we can doesn't necessarily mean that we should. And one of the things that um, I feel like there's a level of patience, maybe. There's a capacity of patience. And there are things that I just don't have. And there are plenty of people who can be in that role as a Queen of Swords if they need to be. Right. I feel like I would be the King of Swords, where someone may need like a Queen of Swords. Right. Where it's not as like rough or brisk. What was it? Brisk? Like what? Let's see if Google. Do you like speak out loud? Hey Google, define brusque.
Here's the definition of brisk: active and energetic.
Hey Google, define brusque.
According to Merriam-Webster, markedly short and abrupt, a brusque reply. 2.
Brusque.
Blunt in manner or speech, often to the point of ungracious harshness.
Yeah, that's the one. Blunt in manner or speech, often to the point of ungracious harshness. Markedly short and abrupt. Yes. Again, I've read the word through context. I came to a certain understanding, but I'd never heard it said. And I never looked it up in a dictionary either, so it's like, I think this is the word. I used to read a lot. Anyway, yeah, it's like they need more whatever. And it's not me. So I feel like if I tried to continue to do whatever, even when I know it's not for me, it could actually end up doing more damage and more harm. And I try to be whatever sometimes. But my North Node Sagittarius said, Patrick, that's not for you to do. That's for North Node Cancer, North Node Pisces, North Node something that ain't giving it to them straight and to the point. My North Node in Sagittarius said, this is for you to do in this lifetime. I said, okay. And it works for some people, it doesn't for other people. But again, it still doesn't necessarily feel like it's my purpose. So I feel like this is just like, and maybe that's fine. Maybe for something public, and maybe for like me, this being available to anybody to watch, this is as deep into the self-read as I need to go. So cool. Yeah. Excuse me. I went live early enough that lunch isn't still for a few hours yet. Wow. I kind of wanted to go live on the Legacy channel. I'm like kind of tired though. I've just been like this past few days. I've needed like, oh look, the Hangman at the top of the deck. The one I wasn't gonna look for. What's with the Hangman? The Eight of Pentacles, of course, because why not? Yeah, I've just been like, there's the Queen of Cups. I've been requiring a lot of rest lately, and I feel like I haven't necessarily been getting it. Like I feel rested, but then I'll wake up for a little bit and be like tired again. I feel like it's been months and I have not gotten a break in my dreams. I feel like every night is something different. And it's like, now my ear is ringing. Ooh, there's the sun. I put some of these back sideways, so I'm just making sure they're all upright. All upright, all upright, all upright, all upright. They're all upright, all upright, all upright, all upright. Excuse me. Maybe I'll go live for a little bit. Maybe I won't. The Star and Strength. Let's see. Talk to me. Mm-hmm. I think Bixby does it out loud. Hey, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right, here comes the flip.
Heads, I'll do it.
Tails it is.
All right, so yeah, I think I've been live enough. Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. It's time for me to refocus, recenter on what I am feeling led to focus and center on and like do, right? Which is to continue to overcome myself, to build the life that I want for me, or to participate, or at least consult, right? Because even if you don't build your own dream home or whatever, you consult with the construction, the architects, and I feel like at the very least, it's for me to be active enough in the consultation. The Two of Cups just revealed itself, but flip back over. Actively involved in the consultations regarding Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. They were like sliding all around, and I just wanted to make sure they were upright, so I pulled them out. Yeah, that's for me to do. Be actively involved in the construction of my own life. And in order to get my dream life, I have to constantly, it feels like constantly overcome myself. And as my journey buddy said, it's a lot of like manual overriding things. The Queen of Wands back out again with the Ace of Cups. Love it. Literally love it. Four of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. And then the King of Cups is right there. Especially for her first sunflower, it requires this is for me. As I've been talking about being an active part in the creation and construction of my life, in the direction that things are moving, and giving my feedback in terms of like, what do I want? Right. And how do I need to navigate, operate to remain in alignment with what it is that I want? Because as the person who will be living my life, you know what I mean? I want to make sure that I'm not bringing anything that I don't need or want. More so that I don't need, that I don't want. And there's a lot of like worry, there's a lot of, because of how I used to have to live, because my circumstances were what they were, and because they are no longer, like I don't have to bring that, and I don't want to. So it's like, as this Queen of Wands, and you see her field is barren. That is her first sunflower. She has to devote a lot of time, energy, and effort into keeping this sunflower that relies on her light instead of the sun's light to live. She has to like maintain that focus. Now, after she has a field of sunflowers, I'm sure it'll be like relatively easy. You know, she ain't got to be as like laser focused and dedicated and as like constantly in the motions. But for now, she is. And the Ace of Cups is there. Oh, that's the water, girl. Please. Maybe she's like, I can keep this alive with my attention, but it's going to need some water. At the very least, this desert is going to need some water. And then the Ace of Cups comes and it's like, oh, thank goodness. And it's like so many different aspects of my life. There's like, what I want to do in terms of like, oh, and then the Nine of Cups, whoop, whoop, whoop. Nine of Cups plus the Ace of Cups is the 10 of Cups that was literally like all over. Just behind the card at the bottom of the deck. But it's like, there's like what I want to do in partnership, what I want to do in friendship, how I want to support, or what I can imagine that support being like, but also like what I want to do for me, the line of work that I want to do, the impact of that work, like what interests me. And all of that exists outside of the old limited framework. And so the closer I get to it, the more I can feel the actualization and the manifestation of the manifestation, the more it almost like triggers all of this old stuff that wasn't aligned. So it's like manual override, manual override, manual override. Because it's almost like, let's say there's like this gate. I have like such a clear visual of this in my mind. And I wish I was going to look for a picture to find a post on the community board of the Legacy channel. Because like I see it like just this massive moon or iceberg, or I guess a meteor in some cases, like just like descending, slowly descending. And then the last time when I did the Aksunade, or when the energy of Aksunade came up, and it was like this sun that is slowly rising on the horizon, but it's like the sun from like Mercury, where like the whole sky is just like sun, and it's like slowly rising. And it's almost like then later, yesterday, it's like as this sun is slowly rising, and then as this gigantic moon or anti-sun dark thing is like slowly descending, they're gonna like eclipse each other and bathe the world in this whatever, in this like weird cosmic light. Because as they eclipse each other, it's like they become some kind of wormhole portal, and you just like shoot through it. And I've actually seen this visual before. I feel like I've seen this visual before. And it was when like a star became a sun, because you move like closer to the sun, or you move closer to the star to the point that it becomes a sun. It's like similar. But anyway, I wish I could find a thing to express it. But it's like as these things are coming in, there's like these automatic gates or automatic doors that keep trying to like stop it or keep trying to shut it. And it's like, no, we got to allow the whole thing. We're trying to allow the whole as much as we can, right? So it's been this constantly overcoming myself, but also being in an environment that is so. I've always found myself in environments that were encouraging and supportive of progress, but I haven't always been of a mind to move in that direction. And now it's like it's an encouragement in a way that is different. And encouragement and support used to be like bars in a prison, right? Because I wasn't of a mind to want to try to progress or move forward. And so to be encouraged to move forward when I don't want to is like an animal that has only known a cage that is trying to be forced out of its cage, right? And so now I'm outside of the cage, being encouraged to stay outside, encouraged to go even further outside. And like there are parts of me that it's like getting into the habit of like enjoying the natural world. But also like sometimes like there'll be a noise or something will happen and it's like you kind of want to go back to the cage, because like in the cage you didn't have to worry about this, in the cage you ain't have to worry about that, in the cage you ain't have to worry about a lot of stuff. And when you were hungry, you were fed. But what kind of life is that? Like, I don't want that life anymore. So that's kind of what I mean about like constantly overcoming myself as I'm feeling. Anyway, that's where I am. And it's requiring a lot of focus and attention from me. So I'm glad to be where I am to have the space to do that. I am where I need to be, as I believe we all are where we need to be to do whatever it is that we are doing. And the physical location doesn't matter. Right. So, yeah. So I guess I'll be going back to my hiatus, I guess. There was quite frequent lives for a hot minute on the Legacy channel. But I feel like the Empress, the High Priestess is coordinating the candidates for the Empress to do her handoff. And it's almost like, again, with the moon and the Three of Pentacles, like that's not for me to focus on or worry about, just to trust that it is happening, right? And to trust that as I work towards my own happiness and building up my own life, it won't be in a world that is like falling apart or whatever, because that would affect like my happiness, right? So, because again, it's not that it's impossible for me to be happy in a miserable world, but I'm not built to or necessarily capable of just like shutting out the world. And as good as I can be at doing it like sort of physically, mentally, emotionally, like I still care, you know? Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for watching, viewing. If you watch or view, even if it's just me, even I might not even watch this one. I might. We'll see. We'll see how life progresses, and I'll be like, oh, what came out in that, like the self-read portion of that. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience share reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find, I hope that what is for you, you realize is for you, and what is for you to do, you are empowered to do. And yeah, may we all get where we're going, I guess, right? And may it be somewhere like amazing and fantastic.